Party on, dudes. Hey there, folks. I am the Mighty Plantain, and we are taking a look at Sierra Nevada's Party Pack today. By the way, thanks, TJ, for bringing this to my attention. I believe you're right, and that this is their summer pack, evidenced by a couple of things. 3, 2, 1. First off, being that these are light summery beers, and secondly, I haven't seen an actual summer pack from them, so I think you're right. I think this is going to be their summer pack. So we're going to start with the Sierraveza, which is an easy drinking lager. We're going to follow that up with the Kolsch, which is a German style ale. Then I'm going to hit the Sidecar Orange IPA before we go into their regular pale ale, because the Sidecar has a slightly lower IBUs. It comes in at 35 versus Pale Ale's 38. I believe I've had the Sidecar before, and I know I've had the Pale Ale. It's in many Sierra Nevada variety packs, but the Sierraveza and the Kolsch I think are new to me. So, like I said, we're going to start with the Sierraveza Easy Drinkin' Lager. That is a very light, very clear beer, and it's quite effervescent as well. There's lots of bubbles coming up out of that. Yeah, it's extremely pale. Honestly, I think it's even paler than most domestic light beers. Nothing much of a standout, just an overall beery aroma. It is crisp. It's got a very light mouthfeel. It's quite refreshing. There's not a lot of character there, though. I mean, easy drinking lager, yes. Absolutely. But it reminds me of a lot of domestic lagers. And, I mean, not that it's not domestic, because it is brewed in the U.S., but there's maybe a hint of toastiness and some hoppy bitterness in the finish, but mostly is toasty, smoky finish. And then, like I said, maybe a hint of hoppy bitterness, but it's very subdued, very minor. Overall, smooth and easy to drink. It's not bad. It's just not really standing out either. I'm going to give it a 3 out of 5. Again, it's a solid beer, and on a scale of 1 to 5, a 2.5 is average, so it is just slightly above average, but it's just not standing out in any way, shape, or form for me. So I'm going to finish this one up. We're going to check out the Kolsch. And next up is the Kolsch. This is a German style ale. Not a whole lot on. There's a bit of a backstory on the back, but we'll just go with German style ale for now. Get tasting in. Well, that one rattled around for a little while. Actually, this one's also paler than I would have thought. It's got a little bit of a brown tinge to it compared to the Sierraveza. Almost like a golden brown tinge to it, but mostly fairly pale. Slightly cloudy, little cloudy, not too bad, and a little less effervescent than the last one, but there are still quite a few bubbles coming up through. It's got a very clean aroma about it. Slightly smoky, but not a whole lot coming off of it. It's got a medium light mouthfeel. Got a nice roasted character to it. Way smokier than I would think, based on the color. But it's another crisp, light beer, easy to drink. That smoky character is getting stronger the more I drink it. I mean, it's got a decent malt backbone to it. Again, surprising given the lighter color. And that nice smokiness. Maybe a hint of hoppy bitterness there as well. Not a whole lot. Very smoky. I'm going to hit this one with a 3.5 out of 5. Again, not a real big standout, not a lot of character to it, but it's got a decent amount of flavor to it. Another nice, easy drinking summer type beer. But yeah, very, very smoky. Very smoky. And again, that's not a bad thing. It's a good thing. It's just I'm not getting a whole lot of other subtle flavors or anything off of it, which is why it's sitting at a 3.5 out of 5. But I'm going to finish this one up. It's not going to take long, and we will move on to Sidecar. So that brings us up to Sidecar, an orange IPA, ale brewed with orange peel. Sierra Nevada's got some pretty solid IPA choices. So I have a feeling this one's going to be right up there with them. Oh, I got a good glug on that. Better head than I've been putting on the others, so that's something. And the label's a little more intricate than the other two, too, I think. Well, no, maybe not. Maybe it just has more contrast because it's got the white background. Not as effervescent as the others. A little cloudier than the Kolsch. Well, maybe about the same. Yeah, no, there's definitely more particulates floating around in there. Darker beer. It's got a slight orange or bronze tinge to it. Don't know how much of the orange peel has an effect on that, but definitely got more color and visually more character than the other two so far. Some nice citrusy, hoppy aroma to it. And there's a little bit of a different kind of bitterness, a citrusy bitterness that I'm separating from the hops because it smells like a peeled orange that I can't remember what they call it, but the white part of the peel, the rind type, it's got a specific name, but it's just that white fleshy part of the orange peel that sometimes stays behind. It's got this citrusy bitter aroma to it. I'm getting that as well as the regular citrusy hop aroma that you get from a citrusy hop. So, nice combination. It's got a bit of a medium light mouthfeel. And just like the others, it's nice and crisp up front and refreshing. Citrusy and maybe a little floral. Some floral hop notes in the finish for me, which is unusual. I don't usually pick up on the floral and earthy notes, but it's coming through in the finish for me. But definitely citrusy up front, and again that odd combination of a citrusy, hoppy bitterness, but also the citrusy bitterness from the orange peel coming through as well. It's a nice combination, and that hint of floral in the finish is getting my attention. Yeah, it doesn't say anything about floral in the notes here on the back, but it does say it makes it the perfect aromatic IPA. I don't know if I'd go that far, but it definitely does have a nice aroma and a great appeal. I'm hovering on this one. I'm kind of, my first instinct is just hit it with a 3.5 out of 5. But the more I drink it, the more I'm enjoying that unusual combination of flavors. I think I'm going to bump it up to a 4. So we're going to go with a nice 4 out of 5 for this guy. Yeah. So I'm going to finish this one off, and then we'll round out the pack with the pale ale. Alright, last but not least, we have Sierra Nevada's Pale Ale. Now, it's a hoppy beer, which most pale ales are. And it says here, handcrafted ale. So you wouldn't really be able to call it an IPA, because IPAs were originally crafted, the hops were added as a preservative to get it through the journey to India on board ship, and hence the IPA, India Pale Ale. If anything, I guess you could call it an APA, an American Pale Ale, and that a West Coast APA. But pale ale suffices to describe any of these hoppy ales. Hell, not all pale ales are hoppy. This one just happens to be. And I can talk about this one because I have, as I mentioned at the top of the video, had this multiple times. Look at that. That has got a nice bronze copper, more of a copper color to it. Slightly effervescent, very clear. Got a decent head on it. Not a lot of the hop character coming through in the aroma. I got distracted by the looks of the beer, but as I was saying, I have had this multiple times before. It shows up in a lot of Sierra Nevada variety packs, and it's one that's just good to have as a standalone, too. Now, my rating tonight, based on what I've been drinking so far and what I've had recently in the last few weeks, might be different from what I've rated this beer before. But that happens to all of us. Our tastes change regularly, not just our overall tastes changing, but what we're in the mood for at any given point in time can change. That's why I try to keep things nice and simple, a 1 to 5 rating, and I just tell you what I'm picking up on with the beer versus talking about styles, etc., and matching it up against that and what I should be expecting based on the label. I just give you a rating based on my impressions, because most beer tastings, it's all very, very subjective. Yes, subjective? Anyway, to your individual tastes. It's got a nice medium mouthfeel, as always, and a good mouthful of hops right up front. It's got a nice overall hoppy bitterness, and this decent, grainy, malty flavor. It's got a good malt backbone, but like I said, more of a medium mouthfeel. It's not too heavy, but it's not too light either. That nice solid malt backbone. It's very grainy, slightly bready, but pinned to that is this big, juicy mouthful of overall hoppy bitterness that fades more to a, I'm getting piney, which isn't a surprise. That's one of the two things other than citrus that I'm really keyed to personally. And then a nice earthy follow through and some hints of citrus and floral in the finish. So an overall nice hop blend. Whew, pardon. And that earthy kick in the middle there is really nice for me. Because I don't usually pick up on earthy notes as strongly as I do the citrus and pine. Like I said, you know, those are my two key hop flavors for my palate. But yeah, I got to give the pale ale a solid 4 out of 5 today. It's a damn good pale ale. It's hitting me really nicely, and it's always one that I'm going to enjoy. I could pick up a 12-pack of these and be perfectly happy for a while. So there we go, 4 out of 4 for the party pack. Some a little better than others for me personally, but overall a very nice solid set of beers, perfectly suited to summer. And this is something you can show up to a party with, because you've got the Sierraveza, which is going to appeal to pretty much anybody who likes any domestic beers, or even some of those, some of the imports from Mexico. I mean, Corona, Dos Equis, Tecate, they're all really popular right now, but it's a good introductory beer to say, hey, check this out, it's from Sierra Nevada. It's similar to what you've had before. Okay, hey, that was good. Now, why don't you try the Kolsch? You liked the first one from them, and the Kolsch has got that nice smoky flavor to it. It's a nice introduction to something other than your run-of-the-mill, normal, domestic, American beers. And then maybe if somebody's still on board with you, you can introduce them to the Sidecar and then bump them up to the pale ale and gauge how they like the hoppiness of a nice pale ale. It's just like, what I'm really getting at here is it's a nice variety pack to introduce people to different beer styles, because you can kind of work your way through them. And none of them are overly offensive to the uninitiated palate, I guess is what I'm really getting at. But it's got a solid variety in here. It's a decent pack. You're going to like it. You're not going to be disappointed. So definitely pick one up. Let me know what you have to say about the beers down in the comments, the email link down below, because like I said, my opinion is very subjective. It's just me. While you're down there, don't forget to like and share this video. Make sure to subscribe so you get notifications whenever I post a new one. Till next time, folks, party on. Cheers.